devotees in these types of reversals, even for long times. If the devotees just go on with their service with humility and faith, Krishna makes those reversals into something very auspicious. Can I tell you another story of Melkote? I'm going to miss my airplane, but I will take the risk. Ramanujacarya is the great disciple of Yamunacharya. He was the most powerful acharya in all of South India. He was living in Sri Rangam, and he had thousands and thousands and thousands of disciples. People loved him. One of his disciples was a grihasta named Koresh. And Koresh had a disciple named Chatugram who betrayed his own guru. He rejected his guru and went to the king of the Cholas, who was a fanatical devotee of Shiva, and wanted the whole kingdom to be his religion. He considered that I'm right, everyone else is wrong. And I'm the king, I have the power. If they don't surrender to what I believe in, then they cannot live. So Chatugram, he said, I know. He became a minister of the king. He said, I know what you have to do. Just convert Ramanujacarya and the whole kingdom will become your religion. But if you don't, everyone will become Vaishnavas, because he's just too powerful. So it's a long story, and my airplane takes off quite soon. But ultimately it was planned. There was a conspiracy that Koresh that Ramanujacharya would be invited to a debate, and either he would surrender to the king's religion and cause all of his disciples to convert, or he would die. So soldiers came to invite Ramanujacharya to this debate. And when they were coming, Ramanuja was ready to go. He was detached. He had a very simple, beautiful, loving heart. But Koresh understood the situation. And he, with tears in his eyes, he begged and pleaded, let me go on your behalf. Give me your sannyas robes, and you put on my grihasta robes, and you secretly escape from this kingdom, because they'll be hunting to kill you. And let me go and face the king. He will think that I'm you. Ramanuja didn't want to do this. But Koresh, with such a pure heart, was begging to serve in this way. So Ramanuja, he relented. Can you imagine? He took off his sannyasi robes. Now these days, if you want to go to a foreign country, sannyasis put on pants and shirts and all that stuff. But Sri Vaishnavas, 1,000 years ago, sannyasis didn't do that. It was a very, very big thing. When you put on saffron, it's forever. Especially danda. But he put on the white robes of a householder and secretly left Sri Rangam. And Koresh, along with one of Ramanuja's gurus, Mahapurna, They went to Kanchipuram. And they won the debate. But the king was not, he was not concerned with justice. He was blinded by ego. When he saw that Koresh and the guys of Ramanuja defeated all his biggest scholars, he became so angry. He said, "Sign this document or you die." The document was that I am defeated, Shiva is greater than Vishnu. So Koresh, he started signing the document, and the king was so happy until he read what he wrote. You see, in South India there is different ways of weighing things. And one particular measure is a Shiva and one is a Drona. Yes? And a Drona is heavier than a Shiva. So Koresh wrote, in all cases, Drona is always greater than, even Drona is greater than Shiva. No, he was just making a joke, but you laughed. But the king didn't laugh. He sent his military out. He couldn't kill Ramanuja because Ramanuja saved someone in his family from a ghostly spirit some years before. So they took Mahapurna and Koresh, these guards, they dragged them out to the forest and burned their eyes out with burning hot iron rods. Extremely painful. And Koresh, after getting his eyes brutally burned out, with great humility, folded palms, he bowed down to the guards. And from the core of his heart, he thanked them. They were shocked. Why is he thanking us? That because of you, you have given me the most intimate service to my Guru Maharaj. Because of you, you have allowed me to sacrifice my eyes in the service of my Guru. I can never repay you the debt I owe you. These most hard-hearted killers, their hearts softened. They realized this man is a saint. They apologized. Anyways, Mahapurna was very old, and having his eyes plucked out in this way was too much. He could not continue traveling. So meditating on his dear disciple Ramanuja, on his guru Ramanujacarya, and meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he gave up his life. Meanwhile, Sripad Ramanujacarya, in disguise, he had to flee the kingdom of the Chola king. And he came near the kingdom of Mysore. And there was another king there from another religion. And it's a long story. But his king, this king's daughter, was mentally ill. There was some subtle energy, some subtle being that was destroying her mentality. And she was just absolutely crazy. And the king invited his own priest to come and try to save his daughter. But because of some technicality, they wouldn't come into his palace, because they thought they would get contaminated. So one of Ramanujacarya's disciples, Nambi, he was living in that area. And he told Sri Ramanujacarya, if you cure this daughter, then you can get the favor of the king. So come to the palace. I've already talked to the king. He's inviting you. Ramanujacarya said, I'm a sannyasi. I cannot go there. How can I go into the palace of a great, powerful, opulent king? Similar to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would not personally meet Maharaj Prataparudra. But the disciple told the Guru that it might be a transgression to the etiquette of a sannyasi, but it'll be good for preaching. It will be a higher principle to save this man, and if you save him, you can save so many others. So Ramanuja accepted, all right, for the higher principle of showing compassion to others, then I will go into the king's palace. So he went in, and Nambi washed Ramanujacharya's feet. Actually, first Ramanuja, he went in, he was strictly business. He wasn't speaking any prajalpa with the king. He just said, he went into the palace, the king bowed down, and he said, bring your daughter. Ramanuja said, bring me your daughter. And the daughter came, and Nambi washed Ramanuja's feet, and then took that water and splashed it on the daughter's head. And suddenly the daughter, who was delirious, she became normal. And she looked at herself, and she was completely disheveled and not dressed properly. So immediately she ran out of the room, and she dressed very nicely, and then she came back in and surrendered her life to Ramanujacarya. And the king, and especially the queen, because mothers are mothers, they were very deeply moved by this. And they started asking questions, and Ramanujacarya was preaching to him. And ultimately, the king, whose name was Vittaladev, he took initiation. And Ramanuja gave him the name Vishnu Vardhana, which means one who expands the glory and the mercy of Lord Vishnu. And because the king became a devotee, the whole kingdom became devotees. So see, Ramanuja's exiled. He leaves everything. He loses everything. He's in disguise, being hunted down. And he has to escape from his home, goes to a foreign land. And in the end, because of that, he met another king, made that whole country into Vaishnavas. And one day, there was the deity of Tirunarayan revealed himself to Ramanujacarya, and the deity of Narasimhadev revealed himself to Ramanujacarya in the forest, Tiruvananthapuram. And Ramanuja sent a messenger, and that messenger went and found Koresh. And came back and told Ramanuja that Koresh has been blinded. And your guru, Mahapurna, he was blinded. And the pain was so excruciating that he has passed away from this world. When Ramanujacharya heard that Mahapurna, who sacrificed his life just to protect his disciple, Ramanuja, was dead, he was crying so loud, with such feeling, that according to the Sri Vaishnava scriptures, even the stones and the sticks and the trees were melting and crying with him. My disciple, he's blinded, just trying to serve and protect me. And one of my greatest, most beloved and revered gurus, not only did he blind and suffer, but he died just to try to serve and protect me. It was too much. And then he heard how the king, the Chola king, was persecuting Vaishnavas and planning to destroy temples. Ramanuja prayed to Lord Narasimhadev. Now Ramanuja was a very forgiving, compassionate person. But he prayed to Lord Narasimhadev that this king is like Hiranyakashipu. So do what you think is best. And Narasimhadev heard the prayer. And the king got this horrible disease on his neck where it was just causing him excruciating pain, and he died. Meanwhile, in the process, according to some it was 12 years, some say 14, but most scholars say Ramanujacarya was in exile in Melkote area for 12 years. Now sometimes we think when Krishna tests us it should only be for a few minutes. But the Pandavas were in exile for 12 years. And he was in exile for 12 years. And then he got the news from his messenger. Oh, in those days there was no emails. Now you can know what's happening anywhere by just going into these internets. But in those days, there was no satellite TV to find out what's happening in Sri Rangam or Kanchipuram. You had to send somebody to walk there, and his messenger had to walk there and search all over the country for Koresh. And he found him and came back and said, Koresh is so happy that he got to give his eyes for you. That's his message. He's so grateful. He's more happy than ever before. He said, what a small price. I've lost my life. I've lost my vision. But what a great honor. Because through my losing my vision and not being able to see the light of day, now the light of my Gurudev is illuminating the whole world and giving vision to the whole world. I'm so grateful that I could be a part of this. Ramanujacarya heard that the Chola king was dead. So, of course, he prayed for his soul to get delivered. And it did. Koresh was offered Ramanujacarya later told Koresh, ask for any benediction, ask for your eyes back. And he sang songs for the Lord in the temple all day long, and the Lord said, ask for anything and I'll give you. You want your eyes? I'll give you your eyes. He said, if you want to give me a benediction, give the Chola king elevation to Vaikuntha. The Lord said, well, I don't really want to do that. But it's your desire, so he's already there in Vaikuntha as we speak. So Ramanujacharya saw he was still blind. Go back and ask for... He wanted his eyes to come. So he went back and sang beautiful songs all day long. And the deity said, I'll give you any benediction. He said, any benediction? Anything. Even your eyes, if you want anything. He didn't say that, but it was understood. He said, Chattogram, who was my disciple, who rejected me, betrayed me, and tried to kill me and my guru. He's dead. Give his soul eternal residence in Vaikuntha. Vishnu said, he's already there. And Ramanujacarya insisted. Please ask. According to some story, he said to the deity that I lost 2 articles that belong to my guru. Please give them back to my guru. And the Lord gave him his eyes back. According to others, even when the Lord insisted to give him his eyes back, he said, I don't want to see this world. The only benediction I want, leave my eyes as they are. I don't want to see anything of this world. All I want to see is your beautiful form in the form of my guru. Give me the benediction that I'll constantly see you. It is done. So Ramanuja went and he heard about this and he told, and Koresh, he asked Koresh, what is the deity wearing today? And Koresh, he had no eyes, but he explained every detail of every flower on his garland and his nature of his crown and his pose and the color of his clothes. And then Ramanuja said, what am I wearing today? And he explained every flower on his garland and how he was standing. And Ramanujacarya understood. That was his benediction. He was always seeing Krishna as Guru. He wasn't interested in anything else. Now to end the story, Ramanujacarya was being begged by all his devotees, and even Ranganath, the deity of Sri Rangam, was appearing to Ramanuja in dreams saying, now come back to Sri Rangam, everyone's waiting for you. You've been away 12 years. But the people in Melkote were so attached to being with him for 12 years continuously, they didn't want him to leave either. This is about my airplane. Very good justification to get me to shut my mouth and end the class. So he went back to Sri Rangam. And when he went back to Sri Rangam, the Chola king's son met Ramanuja and became a devotee and made the whole kingdom Vaishnavas. So it may have seemed like a reversal. He was humiliated, he was exiled, his guru died, his disciple was blinded, he was in exile with nothing, but in the process where he went, he made that whole kingdom and that king devotees. And then he came back, and the Chola king's son, who became the king, he became